I still remember that rainy night 10 years ago. My hands trembled as I stuffed whatever clothes I could fit into my backpack while my parents' words echoed in my head. We need your college fund for Jake's medical school. He has real potential. You can just work at the mall or something. At 19, I'd been halfway through my computer science degree at the state university. My grades were excellent, but apparently not as important as my younger brother's dream of becoming a doctor. Emily, Mom had said with that dismissive wave she'd perfected over the years, be realistic. Jake needs a proper education. You're good with computers, you can learn that anywhere. Besides, we need your room for his study space. I'd stood there in our middle-class suburban home, watching them empty my college account $15,000 I'd partially saved from summer jobs, to pay for Jake's prep courses and application fees. But where am I supposed to go? I'd asked, fighting back tears. Dad hadn't even looked up from his newspaper. You're an adult now. Earn and eat for yourself. We have nothing to give you now. That night, with $237 in my checking account and a backpack full of clothes, I'd walked out of their house into the rain. My best friend Rachel let me crash on her couch while I figured out my next move. 10 years later, I stood in my kitchen, sipping coffee and reviewing acquisition proposals on my tablet. The morning sun streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the spacious interior of my home, a luxury house in the most exclusive neighborhood in the city. Ms. Chen, my assistant Maria called through the intercom, the board meeting is in 30 minutes, and the developers from Singapore are waiting for your video call. I smiled, remembering Mom's suggestion about working at the mall. Instead, I'd worked 3 jobs while finishing my degree on scholarships and loans. Then came my first startup, sleepless nights coding, and finally, success beyond anything my parents could have imagined. Chintech Solutions was now valued at over $200 million with offices in 4 countries. And I was its founder and CEO. My reverie was interrupted by Maria's voice again. Miss Chen, there are some people at the gate claiming to be your parents? I switched to the security feed. There they were, Mom and Dad, a decade older but still wearing those same expressions of superiority, even as they stood outside my gate like solicitors. They're taking pictures of the house, Maria reported. Should I ask them to leave? No, I said after a moment. Let's see what they want. I watched through the security cameras as they walked up my curved driveway, making comments about the landscaping, the architecture, the obvious signs of wealth. Someone like Emily must be working here as a maid, Mom said to Dad. Remember how she used to clean houses during college? At least she moved up to a better neighborhood. They reached my front door just as I was heading out for my meeting. The look on their faces when I opened the door was almost worth 10 years of silence. Emily. Mom's eyes darted between me and my clearly expensive suit. You work here. In a manner of speaking. I stepped outside, my Louboutin heels clicking on the marble steps. Dad forced a laugh. Always knew you'd land on your feet. Being a housekeeper for rich people, well, it's honest work. Before I could respond, Maria hurried out with my forgotten tablet. Miss Chen, you left this inside. And don't forget, you have the charity gala tonight. They're naming the new computer science building after you. The color drained from my parents' faces as Maria handed me the tablet and my car keys. Owner. She nodded respectfully before heading back inside. Owner. Mom whispered, her forced smile faltering. This is your house? I checked my watch. Platinum Patek Philippe, worth more than their car. Yes, and I'm running late for a board meeting. My board meeting. Was there something you needed? They stood there, mouths opening and closing like fish out of water. Finally, Dad cleared his throat. We've been trying to find you. Jake needs. Of course. They weren't here to apologize or make amends. They needed something. Let me guess, I interrupted. Jake needs money. Medical school didn't work out? Or did he finish and now has massive student loans to pay off? Mom stepped forward, switching to her pleading voice. He's your brother. Family helps family. Family. I laughed softly. Like when my family threw me out. Used my college fund. Told me to earn and eat for myself. Because you had nothing to give me. That was different. Dad protested. We had to prioritize. Yes, you did. And now I'm prioritizing too. Maria, I called over my shoulder. Please show them out. And update the gate security. They're not on the approved visitor list. The board meeting went smoothly, though my mind kept drifting back to the morning's encounter. After finalizing our expansion into the European market, I had my assistant pull up everything she could find on my family's current situation. "It's not good," Maria reported, placing a folder on my desk. "Your brother dropped out of medical school in his second year. Apparently he couldn't handle the pressure. Your parents remortgaged their house to pay for his failed attempt and subsequent business ventures. They're 3 months behind on payments." I opened the folder, scanning through bank statements and property records. The comfortable middle-class life they'd sacrificed my future to protect was crumbling. "There's more," Maria continued. "Jake's been trying to start various businesses, all failed. He's accumulated significant debt. Your parents have been selling their assets to cover his losses. And now they've run out of assets to sell." I finished, closing the folder. My phone buzzed, a text from Rachel, my old friend who'd given me that crucial couch to sleep on 10 years ago, now Chinteka's legal director. "Your parents are in the lobby. Security wants to know how to handle it." I sighed, pressing the intercom. "Send them up." Minutes later they walked into my corner office on the 47th floor. The city skyline behind me seemed to emphasize the distance between who I was now and who they'd expected me to be. "Nice office," Dad commented, trying to sound casual while his eyes darted around the expensive furnishings. "Very impressive." Mom clutched her outdated handbag. "We had no idea you'd become so successful. Why didn't you tell us?" "Tell you?" I leaned back in my chair. "Like you told me about emptying my college account? Or about selling my car, the one I bought with my own money, to pay for Jake's prep courses." "We did what we had to do," Dad defended. "Jake needed dash." "What Jake needed," I interrupted, "was to earn things for himself. Instead, you handed him everything while teaching me that my dreams didn't matter." "That's not fair," Mom protested. "We just wanted dash." "I know exactly what you wanted. And now you want something else, don't you? That's why you're here." They exchanged glances before Dad cleared his throat. "Jake's had some setbacks. The medical school thing didn't work out, but he's got this new business idea. With the right investment dash." "No. Emily, please." Mom leaned forward. "He just needs a small loan. 200,000? We'll pay it back." I pulled out the folder Maria had prepared. "Like you're paying back your mortgage? Or Jake's student loans? Or the 3 credit cards you've maxed out covering his failed ventures?" They had the grace to look embarrassed. "How do you know all that?" Dad demanded. "I make it my business to know things. It's how I built this company while you were busy enabling Jake's failures." "He's not a failure," Mom snapped. "He just needs another chance." "Another chance?" I stood up, walking to the window. "Like the chance I never got? I worked 3 jobs to finish my degree. Lived on ramen and coffee. Coded until my eyes burned. And you know what? Every rejection, every setback, every moment of doubt made me stronger." I turned back to face them. "But Jake? Jake never had to fight for anything. You handed him everything, my college fund, my room, my car. And look where that got him." "We're about to lose the house," Dad said quietly. "Everything we worked for. Everything you sacrificed me for," I corrected. "And now you want me to sacrifice more." "Please," Mom whispered. "We don't know where else to turn." I walked back to my desk and pressed the intercom. "Maria, please come in." My assistant entered with another folder, this one prepared weeks ago, when my sources first told me about my family's financial troubles. "This," I placed the folder in front of them, "is a proposal. My company will buy your house at market value, clearing your mortgage debt. You'll be allowed to stay as tenants, paying reasonable rent. Jake's student loans will be consolidated and refinanced through one of our subsidiary companies." Their eyes lit up with hope. "However," I continued, "there are conditions. Jake gets a real job, not another business venture. He starts at the bottom like everyone else. And you both attend financial counseling sessions. You'd do that for us?" Mom reached for the folder. "Not for you," I pulled it back slightly. "For me. Because succeeding despite you wasn't enough. I need to know that when I see you at industry events or charity galas, you're not there to ask for more handouts." "Industry events?" Dad looked confused. I smiled coldly. "Did you think this office was the extent of my success? Chinteka is a global company. We're expanding into Europe next month. That charity gala tonight? They're naming a university building after me. The reality of what they'd thrown away seemed to finally hit them. Their daughter wasn't just successful, she was wealthy and powerful beyond their comprehension. There's one more condition, I added. You need to understand that our relationship will never be what it was. I'm not your backup plan or Jake's safety net. I'm the daughter you discarded who succeeded anyway. That evening, I stood at the podium of the university's grand hall, preparing to give my speech at the dedication ceremony for the new Emily Chin Computer Science building. The irony wasn't lost on me. The daughter deemed unworthy of a college education was now funding educational opportunities for others. From the stage I could see my parents and Jake sitting awkwardly in the back row. They'd shown up uninvited, probably hoping to network with the wealthy donors in attendance. Instead, they were watching their mall worker daughter being introduced as one of the university's most significant benefactors. Miss Chen's donation of $25 million, the dean was saying, represents not just an investment in infrastructure, but in the future of technology education. Her story of perseverance and success inspires us all. I stepped up to the microphone looking out over the crowd. 10 years ago, I sat in a classroom not far from here, wondering how I would finish my degree after my college fund was taken away. Today, I'm ensuring that no talented student faces that same uncertainty. My mother shifted uncomfortably in her seat. The Emily Chin Scholarship Fund will provide full tuition and living expenses for 50 students annually, with a focus on those who've been told their dreams don't matter, that their potential isn't worth investing in. I paused, making direct eye contact with my parents. Because sometimes, the people who should believe in you the most are the ones who believe in you the least. But that doesn't determine your worth, your perseverance does. After the ceremony, during the reception, I watched as my family tried to navigate the crowd of tech executives and university officials. Jake, wearing an ill-fitting suit probably bought for job interviews, attempted to pitch his latest business idea to my company's CTO, who politely excused himself. Emily, Rachel appeared at my elbow, champagne in hand. Your brother just tried to give me his business card. It lists him as future tech mogul. I sighed. Some lessons take longer to learn than others. Your parents are heading this way, she warned. Want me to run interference? No, I straightened my designer gown. It's time they understood exactly what they threw away. Mom reached me first, her eyes bright with artificial excitement. Darling, what a lovely evening. We're so proud, Dash. Are you? I interrupted. Proud of what, exactly? The daughter you kicked out? The success you tried to prevent? Dad stepped forward. Now, Emily, that's not fair. We did what we thought was best, Dash. Best for whom? I kept my voice low, conscious of the prominent figures nearby. Best for Jake, who never learned to stand on his own feet. Best for yourselves, sacrificing one child's future for another's. We're still your parents, Mom hissed. You can't talk to us this way. Actually, I can. Just like you could throw me out. Just like you could steal my college fund. Just like you could sell my car without my permission. Actions have consequences. Isn't that what you always taught us? Jake joined the group, clutching a handful of business cards. Sis, you wouldn't believe the connections I'm making. This one guy from Microsoft Dash. Stop. I held up my hand. Just stop. Those executives aren't here to fund your get-rich-quick schemes. They're here because ChinTech is revolutionizing cybersecurity, because we're expanding globally, because we matter in this industry. But we're family, he protested. Isn't that worth something? Family. I laughed softly. Where was family when I was sleeping on Rachel's couch? When I was working 3 jobs to pay for classes? When I was building this company from nothing while you were burning through my college fund in medical school? A group of reporters approached, sensing drama. I smiled professionally, years of media training taking over. Mom, Dad, Jake, I think it's time for you to leave. Maria will contact you tomorrow about the house arrangement we discussed. But the networking opportunities, Dash, Jake started, are not for you, I finished firmly. Security will show you out. As they were led away, I turned to the approaching reporters. Shall we discuss ChinTech's European expansion plans? The next morning, my family's humiliation was complete. The business papers covered the gala extensively, including photos of my parents being escorted out while I chatted with tech industry leaders. One particularly brutal article mentioned how the self-made tech mogul's family was removed from her building dedication after attempting to solicit investments for dubious ventures. Maria brought in the morning reports along with an update. Your parents signed the house agreement. Jake has an interview at one of our subsidiary companies, entry-level IT support. Make sure his supervisor knows he gets no special treatment, I instructed. He needs to learn what I learned. Success is earned, not given. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. We're sorry. We didn't know. I left it unanswered, instead opening an email from the university. They wanted to create a documentary about my journey from abandoned student to tech industry leader. The irony was delicious. My family's worst moment would become a teaching tool for future generations. Looking out over the city from my office, I thought about that rainy night 10 years ago. The scared 19-year-old with a backpack and broken dreams could never have imagined this moment. But then again, that's what my parents never understood. Sometimes the people you underestimate the most are the ones who will surpass all expectations. My intercom buzzed. Ms. Chin, the Singapore developers are ready for the contract signing. I straightened my jacket, checking my reflection in the window. Success, I'd learned, isn't just about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Send them in, I replied, turning away from the view. It's time to expand the empire they never thought I could build.